Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video I'll be talking about what's the best time to resume in Canada. Is it going to be winter or spring or fall semester? So fall semester usually September to December, right? And winter semester is usually starting in January, from January to about April, while the spring semester or summer usually from May to around August. I know a lot of people ask this question, which should I choose? The good thing is that each of the seasons in Canada, whether summer or winter, they have their own advantages, right? So it's really important for you to weigh your options carefully. So in this video, I've experienced all of the seasons here in Canada, so I want to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, with each of the seasons. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. So let's start by talking about winter. Now, I know what you're thinking about in terms of why would anybody want to come to Canada during the coldest part of the year. Now, hear me out. First of all, there are a lot of sports that happen, apart from the fact that it's a cold season. If you're a fan of a lot of winter sport like skating, skiing, snowboarding, it's a fantastic opportunity or time to have that kind of games, right? There is really no shortage of activity to really keep you busy. And another beautiful thing about winter, you have that white atmosphere. It is magical, right? You have a lot of snow covering this tree. The air is amazing. There's a lot of cozy indoor activities like the hot cocoa by the fire. This really make winter to become an unforgettable experience. Now, there are a few things to keep in mind in regards to winter. The weather can be really harsh, because I know sometimes it can, depends on the place, it can get up to like -20, -25 as the case may be, and it can become windy in some places, right? So it's important to make sure that you have the proper clothing. Just make sure you have warm clothing, warm footwears and all that. Another thing to have in mind that the days are shorter, right? So you have to really adjust to fewer hours of sunlight. So if you're really planning on driving, so you have to be very cautious. The roads are very icy, so if you really like the cold, then winter, it's if you can cope, of course you will, because by the time you put in all your jackets and everything, it is going to be fine. And the good thing about it is you mostly experience this cold, let's say between your house and let's say your bus, because inside the bus there's going to be heater, and then by the time you highlight from the bus and you're still kind of walking to any other place, it might be cold at that, but by the time you get to where you're going to, it is not going to be warm. So it is not always cold like indoor. Like I'm actually shooting this video in the winter, right? So I'm indoor and it's really warm because it's actually in kind of the heater in every room, right? So don't worry about the indoor heat, right? It's mostly going to be outside. Plus the fact that it is amazing, right? All the beautiful, the white environment and everywhere, especially when it's just snowing, right? The crispy air and white snow, it is just amazing. So the next up, we have the spring semester, or the spring, the summer, they're kind of classified the same. Now, one thing about this season is that it's often associated with a lot of new beginnings. So, and this is certainly true if you're moving to Canada during this time. At this time, the weather really starts to warm out. All of the snow that you've kind of seen during the winter, all of them begin to melt, and then it's more like the whole world is kind of jacking back to life. That's why it's called spring, because all the trees are kind of starting to come up and all that. And another thing is that as for students, there are a lot of a lot of programs that actually start in the spring semester. So this really gave you a very good start in your academic year. However, the thing about spring in Canada, even though it is not cold as you have in the winter, it can be very unpredictable. One day it can be very warm and sunny, and then another day it can just come with a snow, especially during the spring before it gets to the summertime. Like for example, a few days ago it was really getting warm, and then I woke up and then there was snow everywhere, right? So it can actually happen during the spring semester, but when it happens in the fall, you're not really surprised that that is happening. So make sure you're really prepared with layers and really good waterproof clothing. And as with many time of the year, the job competition is really tough. So you have to start looking early, because now this is the reason why students actually have a time off school, especially the summer semester. So because it's warm and people can get a lot of jobs and all that. So with these kinds of season, students are working a lot, so you have to really apply, submit a lot of job applications to make sure that you get the right position. So let's talk about the last one. It's going to be the fall semester. Now, there is a lot of beautiful things in the fall semester, right? So this is what we call the season of pumpkin spices. The weather is, you have to put on some cozy sweaters. The leaves are actually now changing. So if you are really a fan of that autumnal aesthetic, this is actually the beginning of snow, right? So you really love Canada in this fall period. The weather is very mild, it's pleasant, and the scenery is just stunning. And another thing is that you're a student, this is the most popular time for students to start their semester, right? So there will be a lot of opportunities to meet new students, get involved on campus. So it is amazing, because this is where you have the biggest welcome event. So you get to meet a lot of students from other school. Now, fall can really be very short-lived, right? So the weather can turn very, chilly very quickly, and the days also start getting shorter, right? So as I would have with the spring, job competition can be really tough. So you have to start applying early, because there are a lot of students that are coming in September semester, and everybody is trying to get a job, because this is like, first time in Canada, so people want to get a job so that they can have something to start paying their rent and all that. So let me talk about a little bit about my story. So I came in May of 2017. This is actually more like a summertime, because the leaves were already green. And when I was coming, I actually bought a jacket, and in my own understanding, this was a very thick jacket, right? And so I got to the airport, and so when I go to Canada, because I said Canada is very cold, and I was staying in the airport, and immediately landed from the plane, I just called some of my friends back in Nigeria and said Canada is not cold, because I was still in the airport. And immediately I came out of the airport and went outside of the airport, it was just 4 degrees, and it was just too cold for me, because I was coming from a very warmer temperature. And when I came around, I saw people actually wearing t-shirts. I was like, what are these people doing? So I wasn't even having that confidence to wear shorts, because I have to put on my jackets all of the time. And then came November, December of that same year, when I experienced winter. So when the following spring came in, the following summer period, I had to go buy all the shorts, and like this, everyone, I'm going to make sure I enjoy this summer to the fullest. So just to kind of conclude, which season do you think is the best time to resume in Canada? The truth is, it depends on your preference and your circumstances, right? So if you are one that like a lot of outdoor activity and this cozy atmosphere, winter is really good, right? Although the winter can be harsh, spring is that time of new beginning, and it's also unpredictable, right? The fall is beautiful, right? Because that is now the beginning of winter. So it can also be shortly, before you know it, the winter start becoming very high, very, very tough. So I would say it depends on you, although a lot of students would like it more when they come in September, because if you come in September, it is not that cold at that time, right? September, October is still pretty good. Towards the ending of October, November, that's when you start having all of this snow coming in and all that. So the beginning of September is a good time, but if you come in January, it's going to be in the middle of snow, so it can be really chilly. Then if you come in the winter, in the summertime, so you have a lot of time between that May, June, July, August to really enjoy the cool atmosphere. And now, you kind of gradually transition into the winter. I found that was what happened to me. So I thought I was able to kind of cope, because I enjoyed the summer. Then when the winter came up, it was easy for me to cope. So that's about that. There is really no best semester, but if you can't withstand a lot of -20 cold, then it might be better to come when it's warmer. And I know, if for example someone gets a scholarship for January, I don't think any reasonable person that really want to migrate to Canada will say, oh, it is winter, I'm going to defer my admission. I don't think I've heard that people say I want to defer my admission because it is winter semester. So you come in, just make sure you are properly kitted, all your gloves and everything, and then just stay warm. If you stay warm, whether winter, it doesn't matter, you should be able to cope. So that is it for this video. If you really enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and smash that subscribe button, so whenever new videos are released, you'll be the first person to get notified. So see you in the next video.